Alright, so hello everyone. In this tutorial we will be adding the animation tree node into our character animations here. And the reason we add animation tree node is because we want to have advanced control over our animations. We want to be able to create a finite state machine for our animations so that we can have control over the transitions and how the animations of our character are being handled. This will be very useful for us because this will save us a lot of time when writing our character controller, because most of the advanced stuff will be handled through this animation tree node. So with that out of the way, we can start. We basically have to hit here to the scene tab and then hit on the character one, which is the first node. It's called the root node, so you can click here, or the parent node, and then hit on this button add child node. This will give us all the nodes that we have that we can add to this scene, but obviously I want to be adding the animation tree node. You can find it here in this list, or you can search for it. And then basically you can even read the description here. It's a node to be used for advanced animation transitions in an animation player, which means that this node has to you have to have another animation player node for it to work. But we already have that, so it should be fine. So you can click here and then click on create. This will add the animation tree node. Next, we have some options here in the inspector for that animation tree node. The first option is the tree root. If you click here, you have several options. This is basically what type of animation tree type is this. So there are several types of this animation tree. And basically the type we will be looking at in this tutorial series will be the new animation node state machine. So basically if you click on this should open up this like panel here, down here, and you can see that we have an animation tree state machine. Okay, next in the options here, we have the animation player. If you click on assign, basically we need to select which animation player node we need to look at. We have here the animation player node, of course. So we can select it and then hit OK. This means that this animation tree will be taking animations from the animation player node. Okay. Next, we have the option to make it active or not. This will be controlling whether this animation tree is processing or not. Of course, if it's not active, then it's disabled. It doesn't have any effect on our character. Of course, we need it to be active. Next will be the process mode. For now, we'll leave it at idle, but we will be changing it later on. And this is the options that we care about for now. So let's look here in the bottom panel for the animation tree. Of course, you can resize it as you wish. Okay. And we have here 3 buttons. If we look at the menu here, the first one, if you hover over them, you can see the description. This one is select and move nodes. And you can see here right mouse button to add new nodes and shift left mouse button to create connections. The next one is create new nodes, and the last one is connect nodes. So basically the first one actually does the job of these two, because you if you use it with the shortcuts, like using a right mouse button and shift, you can do the functionality of these two nodes, or these two buttons, excuse me. Next here we have a remove selected node, and we have then toggle autoplay on start, and we have here set the end animation. This is useful for soft transitions. And we have here a transition type. We have 3 types. We have immediate, sync, and at end. In general, we will be only looking at the immediate and at end. Immediate means that animations will be transitioning immediately. At end, as the name suggests, means that the animations will be transitioning only after the first animation has been completed, then we can transition, right? Another important thing before we dive deeper into this animation tree, we have to go here into the animation player, and we have to set some of these animations to be looping, meaning that they just keep looping and repeating, right? So here we have the falling animation. We need to make it into looping animation. You can click this button here, animation looping, so that it's looping. I already did that. Also for the running animation, of course, we need it to be looping. So you can click here, the looping animation, as well as the idle animation needs to be looping. So you can go here, standing idle looking version 2. You can make it into looping by clicking this animation looping button. Okay, let's go back to our animation tree. And let's start by adding our first animation. So basically I choose here this mode, the selection and move nodes. So I can now right click and I get this menu. And here I can add an animation. So here, as you can see, we have all the animations listed that are in the animation player. Let's start with the idle animation. So we can put it here. And now if you click on this play button, as you can see, the character here started playing that animation. And as you can see, the animation is repeating because it's looping. Now, one thing that I like to do is that I would like to control the speed of this animation. So for example, if I want it to be faster or slower, it would be nice if we have the option to do that. And if we click on this node and look here at the options, there is really no options here in the inspector. So really the only way we can do that is if we, let me first delete this one, so I can click delete on my keyboard. Excuse me, this is wrong. You don't click delete on the keyboard because here it says delete node animation tree. I don't want to do that. This will delete the animation tree node here, right? This is not good. We want to delete that, so make sure that you click on that node first before deleting it. Okay, so again, as I was saying, I want to be able to control how much or how fast is the animation playing. So I deleted that. I can now right click and let me add a blend tree node. And here I can rename it. So I can click and name it into idle. So this will be the idle animation. And now I have here the edit button. Also, you can click on it in order to enter that blend tree animation. And here we have another node graph. It's really simple. You don't have to be professional in any of that in order to do this. So basically you have to just right click again to add the animation. So here we click on animation. And if you click on this film icon, you get all the animations you have. So of course, this is the idle animation. So we click on idle. But now, as I said, we want to control the speed. So if I right click here, I want to be adding a timescale node. So this timescale node, now if I connect this animation node to this timescale node and the timescale node into the output, this will allow me to control this, okay? And the way we control the speed is by changing this factor. So right now it's 1, and I can change it to 2 or 3. So if I change it to 4, let's say, for the sake of showcasing this. And now we go back here. So as you can see here also in the path, we have the root, we have the idle. If we go back to the root, clicking, this will return us to our state machine. And now I run it by clicking here the run. As you can see, okay, this is awkward, but it's moving really fast. If I go here into edit again and I change the time scale to 1, okay, now it's more normal movement. So this is how you can control the time scale. You can also do a lot of things inside this blend tree, but for now we only need to care about the time scale. You can check the other options by right-clicking. You can blend several animations here if you wish. So let's go back here in the path. We can go back to the root. And let's add our next animation. So again, I'm going to be right-clicking. I'm going to add another blend tree because all of the animations I wish to control the speed of them. So I'm going to add a blend tree, and this blend tree will be for the run animation. So I'm going to call it run. I'm going to edit this, and I'm going to be adding an animation. So right-click, animation, then choose the running animation. And if you drag this and then leave it here, you get another menu here asking you, okay, what do you want to be connecting it with? So I want to be connecting it with the time scale. So this is an easy way to add the time scale and then connect it to the output. So now we can head back to the root. So here we have two animations. We have the run and the idle. Let's add a third animation. So we can go here, add blend tree. I want to add one for the dodge animation. So we can call it dodge animation. And again, enter edit. This will become a little bit repetitive, but again, we add an animation. We choose the dodging animation. So here, dodge. And then you add the time scale and then add the output. Then you can return back to the root. So now we have 3 animations. And so what, right? What's the point of the animation tree? The point of the animation tree is that we can now control the relationships between each animation. So in order to showcase that, let us connect these nodes. So if you click here on this connect node icon, or you can stay in the on this one and the select and move nodes, and then use the shift key to connect nodes as you wish. So I'm gonna for the sake of simplicity, I'm gonna be staying in the same tool here, and I'm gonna be using the shift and left mouse button to connect them. So this node I want to connect to the run, and the way you want to think about it is that if I'm in the idle animation, I want to transition to the running animation, right? This is how you think about it. And the transition, if you click here on this arrow, you will see here in the inspector some of the options. So here it's the switch mode. So how is this transition going to be? Again, is it going to be immediate, or is it going to be at the end? Again, sync is not something that we will be caring about in this tutorial. Okay, I'm trying to keep things as simple as possible. So just think about these two options, immediate and at end. Of course, if you're interested to learn how sync works, you can look at the documentations. I think it's only a special case where you use sync mode, but the most too common is the immediate and at end. So again, the switch mode, do you want to switch from idle to run immediately? If so, then you can click. So if we switch here, look how abrupt this switch has been. Okay. And now while the animation is running, or while this character is running, of course, now if we lift our fingers from the joystick, we want this character to stop running, right? So we can click here on this and then shift and go to idle. So basically shift, click and drag. So basically here we're saying that from idle, I want the character to transition from idle to run immediately, and I want to transition from run to idle immediately. Okay, so whenever I lift my finger, I want to immediately switch from run to idle. Alright, but as you can see, the changes are quite abrupt. It wouldn't look really nice in the game, right? So we need to do some sort of smoothing between them, and this can be easily done. If you click here on one of these arrows, and you go to the options here, we have an option for the X fade time. This is the time to crossfade between them. So you can change this time to something small. So we can change it to 0.3, and let's see what happens. Now, if I change to run, notice how this the switch has not been so bad. Okay, so it's not like immediately flipping the animation, it's fading. Okay, I think 0.3 is a little bit too high, maybe 0.2. And we also need to click on this arrow here to also fade the time between switching from running animation into idle animation. So I'm gonna go here, fade time 0.2. All right. So now from running, let me check how it's faded. Okay, and from running into idle. Okay, so this looks not bad. Notice how it's smoothly transitioning from one animation to the next. All right, so let's go to the next animation here. So here we have the dodge animation that we have created node. We can transition, of course, from idle into dodge, right? And we can choose the mode of transition. I will keep it immediate. I'm gonna also play with this fade time. So I'm gonna make it 0.2 as well. And from dodge, of course, I want to change to idle. But of course, I don't want to keep it immediate, and I'll be explaining this in a second. Let's keep it immediate for now, but I'll show you why we don't need to keep the switch mode immediate. So here, idle, let's switch into dodge. Okay, that's looking nice. Now notice the animation here is stuck, right? The dodge animation is not looping. We don't need it to be looping. However, once the dodge animation is done, we really want to switch to idle animation, right? So basically click on this arrow leading from dodge to idle, and we need to switch the switch mode, or sorry, we have to the option to auto advance here. That means that it will transition automatically to idle after we're done. Okay, so this means now if I'm in idle and I click the dodge button, it's going to transition. But look, there's something wrong here. It's immediately transitioning. It's not waiting for the dodge to play, right? And this is because we have the switch mode to immediate. We need to change it at end. That means that it will wait for the dodging animation to end before switching to the idle animation. So here, let's check it out. Okay, so it's waiting for the dodging to finish, then it will immediately switch to idle. Of course, we can here also add a fade time to this transition. So here, the X fade time, I'm gonna also add it to be 0.2, and let's check it out. See how nice and smooth this transition now become. So these are the basics of creating these animation trees. All right, I don't want to make this tutorial too long. In the next tutorial, we will be expanding on this animation trees. We will be adding all the rest of the nodes, but for this tutorial, I think it's enough that we get an idea of the basics of this animation tree node. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next time.